Okay, so here we go. The first thing I would ask you to do is come to google.com to access their search engine here. And just type in whatever state you're in. You just want to type Secretary of State and then that state's name. So in my case, for the sake of this example, I'm going to do Secretary of State, Texas, and hit enter. And I also am aware that in my state, and you'll find it in many other states, you have different agencies that actually do this directly for them. And in the case of Texas, you see this SOS Direct here. I'm going to click that because I'm aware that that's who handles theirs. But you can also find the same material going straight to the Secretary of State. Matter of fact, I'll go that way because in most cases, it may not be SOS Direct. So let's go that route. Let's take you to the main site of the Secretary of State. All right. So now that we're here, in the case of Texas, let's see if this quick drop down will help us. Let's try it again. Okay, the page is still loading. Let's give it a second. All right, now. Secretary of State. Oh, what do we want? What's going to be best for us? In this case, we're going to go for business name availability. I typically don't like to pay for these. In the state of Texas, they cost you $1 every time you do it. But in any case, and so you see this SOS Direct that I was referring to out in the search engine, but it just may not be the case in your state. So anyway, it's the case in Texas, state of Texas. So let's proceed. So if you don't already have an SOS Direct user ID, then what you have to do is submit a request for an SOS Direct account. Now, I've been through this process already, so I'm just going to go to my Gmail. So I'll come here to the email that I get from the SOS Direct, texas.gov, and I will copy this user ID. I'll highlight it, right-click it, and copy it. Then I'll come back here to the Secretary of State site, and I'll paste it in. And I'll use the password that I used initially setting it up, and then I'll click Submit. You would do this same process in your state. It may be a little different as far as setting up the account. They may not even require one. But in case you're dealing with a complicated like this one, it's a rather good example because it allows me to be with you through the process. And it doesn't like my password. Let's try that again. Okay. Try that again. Okay, so now here we are. They're just saying here that use the credit card. Let me take that away. I don't want to save the password. Use a credit card or legalese for payment method unless client account has been funded 1 hour in advance. And since that's not the case here, we just want to, under contact information, I just typed in here something new, company, and an old phone number, an email address, and I will click continue. Here, under credit card, go ahead and enter whatever card you use. I have something pre-saved here. Of course, you know I got to highlight that out. But make sure here that under business name it represents what you really wanted the name to be. So I'm going to just type in the name of a new project I'm working on and make sure that it's so out of the ordinary nobody else has it. So here you can do business name or you can do individual name. I'll just do the business name and use my address and make sure to give them a phone number, and then I'll click continue. Okay, it tells me I'm logged into the SOS Direct website, that my status indicates I'm permitted full access to all uniform commercial code, business organizations, trademark functionalities, etc. on the site. And so what I'll do is I'll click business organizations here. And then what I'll do is here at the reservation formation registration documents, what I'll do is come here and I will pull this arrow down, and what I will do is a domestic, meaning based in this country, a domestic for-profit corporation. I'll click that and I'll click file document. Okay. Now, if you are submitting a document to form a 100% veteran-owned business, stop. You may be exempt from certain filing fees, but not when you submit the filing online. To form a fee-exempt 100% veteran-owned business, you must submit your certificate of formation by mail, personal delivery, or fax. And for more information, you can click this link here. In the other cases, what we're going to do is we're going to, under filing type here, we're going to pull down this arrow and we're going to choose certificate of formation. You may hear this referred to as articles of incorporation, especially when you go to set up a business bank account, which is what I'm preparing you to be ready to do. So we're going to do certificate of formation is what it's called in Texas and in many states. And so what you want to do is understand that that's the same as articles of incorporation. So we'll click continue here. Now, the filing entity formed is a for-profit corporation. The name of the entity is, and we will type it here. You want to make sure, and I've already done this, so I'm going to just choose Pimp My Resume Now, Inc. The name must contain the word corporation, company, incorporated, limited, or an abbreviation of these terms. The name must not be the same as, deceptively similar to, or similar to that of an existing corporate limited liability company or limited partnership name on file with the Secretary of State. So I've done Pimp My Resume Now, Inc. as an abbreviation of incorporated. So I'm going to do a name availability search. I'm not even going to do that. I know it's valid, but you can. What happens is they charge you $1 when you click this. And I've already done this search, so there's no point in me giving them $2 for something that I've already been shown is available. So I'm going to click continue. If you're not sure or you have a name that you're thinking might be too similar, go ahead and do the name availability search. But in my case, I'm going to click continue. Okay. So now what you want to do is, in the case of registered agents, the deal is a person needs to be right here. A person who is named as the registered agent must have consented to serve in that capacity. What the registered agent actually does is receive documents by mail that the state might wish to communicate to the corporation, meaning, and so on behalf of that corporation, you would receive that mail. That's the registered agent. So if, God forbid, you're getting sued or something, or something's awry, the state will alert you. They need to alert the corporation, but they need a person to communicate with, and so that's the registered agent. So you can do this as a person, business name, or an individual. And so what I would do is I would put my individual information here and go ahead and consent on file with entity is what I would select here. If you do consent attached, then they want you to upload an actual document saying that you're authorized in case you're doing it on behalf of someone else. So in this case, I'm going to say the consent is already on file with the corporation and keep the state out of it. And click continue. If you are submitting a document, blah, blah, blah. Okay, in this case, the number of directors constituting the initial board of directors and the names and addresses of the person or persons who are to serve as directors until the first annual meeting of shareholders or until their successors are elected and qualified is set below. What we're going to do is we're going to see if they'll let us get by with not adding a director, and just click continue. And it says at least one manager officer is required by statute. So in that case, I'll go ahead and click add director. And I'll just add myself. Okay. Well, that didn't take. Let's try that again. Okay, and you've entered the information here. Click update. And so now you have added a director by doing this. Okay, so now you have one director there. I'm going to click continue. Number of shares, depending on how many you choose, this can sometimes boost the cost of filing an incorporation. So what we'll do is we will say that the number of shares is, let's say 3,000 initially, and they have a par value of 50 cents. And then we will say the Class A shares, which means they're voting shares, and then we'll click continue. And in this case, supplemental provisions information, a document filed with the Secretary of State is a public record. The document and information provided in the document will be available online through the SOS Direct for public viewing. Do not include confidential information such as social security numbers within a document, etc. So in this case, we're not going to add any additional documents, and we're going to click continue. The name and address of the organizer. I'm going to put my name, and I will put my business address and click continue. And the signature, if you're the person who's doing this execution, just hit caps. Make sure you're doing all caps. Sign your name. This is something that, this is a way of digitally signing your signature. Bill Clinton made this legal when he was in office. So we have them or him to thank for the ability to actually sign a document this way online. And so the effective date is going to be, what is this? 07/16/2018. We will continue. Okay, so it's past business hours on the 16th. So I got to try another date here. Let's do the 17th and continue. And so what you're looking at here, please review the document displayed for accuracy. If corrections must be made, press Edit Filing. When complete, press Submit Filing to submit this filing. And so this is how, and the cost in Texas for a corporation is $300. It's one of the most expensive states in the country. The only state that costs more is California, which is about $600. So here's what your articles of incorporation would look like. You're getting a preview of it. If I were to actually click to pay the $300, then I would be able to save, download, and print this document, which is what banks are talking about when they say, do you have an article, do you have your articles of incorporation? This is the document that they are referring to. So when you pay for the filing, you're able to download that document, you're able to print that document, and that is one of the 2 documents that you will need in order to open a business account in the name of that entity. So this concludes the section on how to file your articles of incorporation. After this, we will go ahead and choose an actual address location for the business, and then we will proceed from there. But this is how you actually form a corporation in the state of Texas, and I hope that you can see that you would just simply do the search in your state's name. You would go through the steps, and like I said, the most expensive states to file a corporation in are Texas and California. Texas at $300, California around $600 last time I knew. Missouri, for example, is $85. There are a lot of states where forming a corporation does not cost as much. But in the case of Texas, as you can see here, the filing fee is $300, one of the most expensive states in the nation. However, we can still show you how to get this done and to get it done in 48 hours. So we will go into choosing a business location next, how to get a business address without having to get a lease. And then we will move on to the IRS to make sure that everything is covered there. So see you on the other side.